What up, nerds? This is your boy Bob, and I just wanted to record a little bit of a disclaimer for this episode. We've been having some technical difficulties this week, and due to that, the audio quality of this week's show is a little subpar. We felt like it was still a pretty solid episode, and we definitely wanted to get our thoughts on Stranger Things 3 out there for you guys. But if this is your first time listening to the show, just know it typically does sound better than this. We're troubleshooting our issues currently, and hopefully we'll have everything fixed by next week's show. But thanks for bearing with us, and I hope you still enjoy the episode. And as always, everybody please keep chilling.
What up, nerds? Welcome to a very nostalgic episode of Straight Chilling. I can't talk tonight. My name's Bob. I'm going to be your host. This is episode number 224, recorded on Sunday, July 21st, 2019. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Stranger Things 3. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else at the table tonight. First up, calling in from my dining room, Randy Gandy G. Landy.
I'm in front of you!
Shit. Woo! This episode of Straight Chilling is in 3D.
Now we're extra hard with us here.
So hard. Next up, calling in from Southern Korea, we got our boy Soju. What's up?
What up? It's your boy. Simi Charm kind of stains. Yeah, baby. What up?
What'd you say?
Semi-charmed kind of stains.
Baby, baby.
One headlight stains.
Dude, we're doing the nostalgia, right? It's a different decade, but it works.
It is. I want to dance with some stains.
I want to dance with some stains, yeah, bitch.
Yeah. Last but not least, also calling in from my dining room table, making his triumphant return to Straight Chilling, Brad.
What up, boys? How are you guys doing tonight?
What up, Brad?
The Brad touch is what I like to go on.
The Bradster.
With the 90s.
I love Brad touch.
The Brad touch.
You got the touch. Who doesn't like a little touch, Brad?
Brad stains.
Brad finger.
Ooh.
Let me give you the old Brad thing. Slip you the old Brad.
I was specifically referencing the band Badfinger, but that turned dirty real quick, as all things do in this household.
Damn, I should have done material stains. Damn it. Oh, well.
Missed opportunity.
Damn
Man,
it, really
stains.
fucked up. Next Stranger Things episode, I'll pull it back.
All right, we'll see how that.
In a year and a half.
A year and a half, yeah. When we come back around. Let's take care of some housekeeping real quick, gentlemen. Reminder, our August poll pick is posted on our Patreon website right now. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you can vote on a movie we're talking about this August. The theme for August is 90s horror. And the movies up there that you can vote between are Army of Darkness, Thinner, and Scream 2. And Army of Darkness is still in the lead pretty handily. Nobody likes Scream 2.
Nobody.
People are wrong.
Scream 2 is a great film.
It is. It absolutely is. a great
Has
film.
everyone's favorite Neve Campbell.
Yes.
Leaf stains. Campbell soup stains.
Knee stains?
Neve Stains.
Also, we got a couple new Patreon subscribers.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
We got to do some shouts outs here.
Shouts
So
out.
big thanks to Eddie L and Corey T for
Whoa.
jumping on and supporting us.
Thank you, boys. We
Thanks,
appreciate
my guy. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. And we're also
They get those Cooter Club stickers? Woo.
Yeah, they're in the mail. I dropped them in the mail.
Whoa. Welcome to the club. It's exclusive.
Clear stains. And we're also gonna do something new for the first time this week. Actually, those dollars, all those dollars, they really help us keep the lights on. They help us cover the monthly costs. They help us do a lot of things, and we really appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and give you the old Straight Chilling salute. This one's for you guys.
Slap my ass!
And that'd be old DJ Elzebub asking you for the weekly ass slap. Thanks for helping us keep the demons ass red.
Keep that fanny red, boys and girls. Keep it red.
Nice and Right.
Is that where our money's going?
Yeah, we got to buy paddles, and
we have a debt to pay to our demon DJ.
So it's kind of like a BDSM type element.
I mean, there's always been that under.
This became a new kind of podcast.
Always. BDSM stains.
Leather daddy stains. Leather daddy stains.
Those are some biohazard stains.
Do you have anything that says daddy likes leather? Justin, do we have any YouTube or Twitch news?
We do. So last week we finally got to start our July game on Twitch. It was a lot of fun. We had a squad going with us, Hard With Us squad, playing what's the name of this game? Friday the 13th, the game.
This is a horror podcast.
Yes. Friday the 13th, the game. So we had there was like 5 of us, I think. Bob was on there, even though he didn't activate his audio like he was supposed to.
I didn't.
You're supposed to call people slurs if you don't have your audio turned on.
Fucking silent Bob over there. But if you want to, if you want to watch everybody get slaughtered by Bob's Jason, it is live on YouTube now. Tomorrow night, you can watch live on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Straight Chilling Podcast. We'll be playing again with the squad. Bob will be on. Maybe I'll get Jason this time. I didn't get Jason last time, so it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it again. We're gonna play 8 p.m. Eastern Time Monday night, so check us out there. If you miss it live, you can always check it out on YouTube, youtube.com/Straight Chilling Podcast. Please give us those likes, those subscribes. We're getting a steady amount. I appreciate everybody who's subscribed to us, who's commenting, so thank you guys for that.
Heck yeah. Squad stains.
Squads. God damn.
That shit was a lot of fun too, man. I am such an old idiot when it comes to video games. That was the first time I ever played an online video game like by myself that a friend didn't just like set up and say, hey, here's a controller to play.
Well, I mean, I did set it up and do those things.
All right.
I mean, but yes, and Bob, you killed everybody but me. Good job.
Yeah.
I saw that, Rob. I was actually really proud of you when I was watching the live stream.
Way to slaughter your buddies.
Yeah.
Natural born killer.
Keep them from escaping on that boat, Bob. Good job.
Escaping. Also, we had a live show this past Wednesday.
Yeah, we did.
Which maybe we should talk about real quick. We hosted a screening of Sleepaway Camp at Sunray Cinema here in town. And that was the second event that we'd done at Sunray. And we did a little bit of a live show afterwards. And it was fucking great. It was
a lot of
fun.
Yeah. Good turnout. Everything was great.
Yeah.
Thank you all who came for coming. It was great. We couldn't do it without people showing up, obviously.
Yeah.
We were terrified that, like last time, that nobody would fucking be there. But, of course, the draw of the movie outweighed the horror of seeing us in person.
Right. It was great hanging out with everybody and also watching that movie for the first time with a crowd. It's like such a different experience. Like people laugh at certain things that.
Brad, that was your first time, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Brad. Oh my God. I envy you I envy the people around you.
Envy is a strong word.
Yeah, that's why I had to hesitate on that.
I was really curious because
spoiler free now. Spoiler free.
I'll say nothing, but Rob got on and did his bump and kind of like introduced everything, and then the next thing I see is the lights go down and Rob will leave, and I'm like,
what? I'm out. Peace out.
That's exactly what I thought. I'll not have an option leaving
later. Buying this ticket counts as a waiver against causing property damage, trying to escape.
Yeah, it was a great time, and it was a really great turnout, and it was freaking awesome. Everybody was laughing, which was great, and I think the live show went pretty well afterwards as well. And I totally had all my gear there. I recorded the show, and then my freaking computer froze, and I lost the whole recording.
Bob.
I have like the introduction that I did. That's the only thing that actually.
As somebody who could see Rob's screen, I can tell you that there was no shortage of pornography that was
Yeah,
Tech Bob.
Sunrise Wi-Fi.
You didn't close out your porn stash?
Of course.
Why do you think it crashed?
Titpunch.com was open and rolling.
Chinese pancakers.
God damn. That's that 90s style.
Oof.
But crumpets. Anyway, yeah. So I was gonna post the recording of the live show so that everybody could listen to it, but I can't now because it was all lost, which is definitely a bummer. But other than that, I think the show went off pretty well, pretty much without a hitch.
Yeah.
Good,
lots of people were tainted by that movie for the first time.
Yeah.
Like our boy Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Brad.
Brad
And also, thanks for flying down, Randy, and also big thanks to Anthony from Something Ghoulish for making the trip up and enriching our live show experience.
Oh yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for the housekeeping. Let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randy, do you know what you have been watching this week?
I never do until you ask me.
Somehow.
I didn't get a lot of viewing in, because I'm visiting town, visiting a lot of people, so a lot of my time is taken up by not screens, which is dumb. I did last week finish up the final season of The Last Man on Earth, which was a drag because it ends on a cliffhanger and it got canceled. So it's just lingering questions and sadness. I really, really enjoyed that show.
It's so tragic because that show is great.
It's so fun. It's such a fun. It's like the lightest possible version of a post-apocalyptic tale. It's great. And I guess now we'll have to wait for, I don't know, somebody to come along and fund some Kickstarter to fund a movie or some shit. But I don't know. Everything has that treatment. We'll see if it works out. Yeah. Is that it? That's pretty much it, man. There wasn't a whole lot past that again.
All right. Hey, Brad, what you been watching, man?
What a swerve.
Yeah. I would not. So I know Randy also saw this movie recently. I just got out of Crawl today at like 3:30.
Whoa.
I was surprised. I was not going in expecting much, but I really enjoyed it. And
Nice.
But the thing is that with this movie, it should be called Florida the movie. There's a hurricane. There are alligators. They show the Florida Gators swim team. And I could walk outside and I'd probably see more alligators and more than this movie. I'm pretty sure.
There's some that live upstairs from me.
Yeah. See,
My parents.
usually you just invite them in, have some dinner. Yeah, it's a fun time.
So did you like it? Would you recommend people check it out?
I would. So I went in kind of expecting a Sharknado type, I guess. Well, but the production value, and I think just they knew what they were going for with this, and they didn't try to stray from that at all. So I absolutely would recommend going and seeing it in theaters.
Nice. I might try and catch it tomorrow or something. I still haven't seen it, but I like Alex Ajaw's other stuff, and it's usually pretty gruesome. His other movies, they kind of swing for the fences.
It won't disappoint.
Randy did a nice little mini cast on Crawl.
Did.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
And
Diddy cast.
I had feelings on it, but you have to download another episode to hear them.
Oh, Randy.
That's what you go the hard with us.
Bob.
Brad, anything else?
The only other thing I've really been doing is I've kind of been working my way through Saga of the Swamp Thing, which is great, but I just haven't had a whole lot of time to read it. So Alan Moore is kind of a perfectionist, and it shows in this. So I would recommend that as well so far.
All right, you big into swamp business this week.
Yeah, right? I practically live there. So.
Juice. What you been watching?
I haven't been watching a whole lot either. I have been going back through Stranger Things for today, just to kind of refresh myself a little bit. But then I did see Toy Story 4 finally in the theaters. I just realized, dude, Disney is just like pumping this shit out, because also when I came back, Toy Story 4 was out, but then also Aladdin was out, and also Lion King like dropped, and I was like, good Lord, Disney, what the fuck? You don't have enough money?
People catch on that, they're getting my money.
So they just announced all their new Marvel stuff, like
12 movies or some shit.
Yeah, that shit is nuts. Dude, Blade. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Bob went and saw Spider-Man together, and Bob fell asleep in the reclining chair.
It was so good.
I wasn't that into it. But I'm not a big, huge superhero guy.
You're just an old bitch, Bob. That's all. Who falls asleep in movies?
But they also had the Watchmen trailer drop, but we'll talk about that later.
So I saw Toy Story 4. It was fine. It's like I was one of those people like, they're making a Toy Story 4. You know, like the trilogy was like so solid, and 4 was like good. You know, but I kind of don't really care anymore. You know, 3 was like the emotional ending that was fine. You know, and 4 is.
You don't need a 2.5 hour epilogue.
Yeah, but it was still good. Like, I would never like sway anybody from seeing it. It was just like, I hope they leave it there. I hope that's the end of that.
And the bets are in for that happening, and it's 1,000 to 1.
Well, the only thing is, I was thinking Tim Allen and Tom Hanks, they're getting pretty old. So, I mean, like, those dudes can't go on forever.
Yeah, but I mean, deepfakes now exist. So,
the human body can only contain so much cocaine.
You can replace Jim Varney.
Talking about nostalgia. What a weird shtick that guy has. If you have no idea what we're talking about, if you don't know what Home Improvement is, Tim Allen, Google that.
Oh, man. You're about to open up a Pandora's box.
Is there anything else?
No, that's it. Now I kind of want to watch some Tim Allen compilation supercut.
You just go watch Jungle to Jungle next week. How about that?
Dude, I used to love the shit out of that movie.
Me too. Santa Claus mixed up.
Oh, man. This is now the Tim Allen podcast.
I watched a few movies this week. So I got a new Arrow video called Chill Factor.
Wait, Bob, it's not that segment yet.
But these are the movies I watched.
I know, just
Chill Factor. It's kind of like a ghosty possession murdery type joint that takes place at this cabin. These kids, they're on a vacation and they're riding around on their snowmobiles, having a good time, little winter vacation, and then they find this like Ouija board, but it's like it looks homemade, and it's got like this eyeball in the center of it, and it's real ornate. And then they of course play with it, and then it awakens up this demon that possesses one of their friends and starts killing everybody one by one style. But
one of those.
Yeah, not very great though. The kills are just they're kind of not shown at all. Just people, you just like know that someone has died.
You just see splatters behind them.
Yeah, kind of. If that, I don't know. They just sort of skirt around everything. And there's like this really weird, monologue that happens. Like characters will be like walking around and talking, and there's just like this overlay where they're just explaining what's happening to you, but you don't hear the dialogue. It's just you just hear somebody talking over it. You're like, well, just let me watch. Why are you telling
now? Jimmy is saying to Rick, "I hope we can find our way home."
Yeah, I don't know. That's how they book in the movie with that. They start at the end of it. So that's fucking weird.
So it's worth the money, huh, Bob?
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Would you trade it for a jet ski?
Yeah.
You wish you had a jet ski instead of this movie.
Yeah, not super into Chill Factor, which is rare. Usually Arrow puts out pretty bomb stuff, even if it's like weird, obscure things you never heard of before like this. but it didn't really do it for me. I did, however, rewatch Blue Velvet. David Lynch joint.
What did you think this time?
I'm having sexual pleasure from Rob telling us about watching this.
Yes. I liked it.
What were you wearing, Bob?
I was wearing a Blue Velvet robe.
Oh, yes.
It was cut above the.
Oh, God damn. Give me a PPR.
I just kept gnawing on the sleeve for some reason. Yeah, I liked it, man. It's Dennis Hopper is full of cocaine. Like, holy shnikes. He's going big, real big. And he's scary as shit.
He is. That is a terrifying fucking man.
But his freaking performance was incredible. And the movie's just kind of beautiful. Like the way it's lit, there's a lot of like very noir influenced shots. And I don't know, the colors are just like kind of, they're very dull in certain scenes, but like very rich in others. It's just like you can kind of feel the texture of the movie. You know, like, it just looks gorgeous. I liked it. I was into it. So I'm gonna try and watch some more Lynch. I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole.
I just finished.
Cool.
Should I scoot over, Randy, or like?
You'll do that, buddy. You're gonna have to clean those shoes up.
Cool.
I don't like these shoes anyways. So
all right.
Yeah, that's all I want to talk about. That's all I want to share. That's what I've been watching. Let's go ahead and get to the main event. We're talking about Stranger Things 3, and we're going to kick it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
What is on the back of the box? Okay, so this is the third season, or the third installment, or whatever you want to call it, of Stranger Things. It's set during the summer of 1985. Mike, 11, and the rest of the gang are growing up and having to navigate a bit of romance, growing apart, joining the workforce, and of course, a brand new threat to the quaint town of Hawkins. New set pieces, new heroes, new villains, and of course, the big bad Russians keep this episode season enthralling throughout.
Bam.
Bam! So,
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
This is a little bit different for us because we don't often review television shows. But we've been on that Stranger Things since season 1. We reviewed season 1 and 2, so we're going to keep that going for sure. So we obviously knew about Stranger Things. You can't really avoid it. I mean, you can order a goddamn upside-down Whopper from Burger King.
Upside-down Lego set.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Baskin-Robbins has been taken over.
I've seen like 45 different replicas of Hopper's dumbass shirt from this season on sale everywhere.
I like it. I would wear that shirt.
Well, would, Bob.
You and every other person in America, apparently.
It's very rock.
It's a high demand.
You're not original if you wear a roast beef t-shirt anymore.
I've already seen several. Actually, there was a guy wearing one. I'd rather wear this roast beef shirt, actually, because I think it's a little bit more like, it's a little bit less seen than the
Just depends on your taste. I mean,
there were a couple, or there was at least one at our live show, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because I don't know, that one hit me better, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Were you guys looking forward to Stranger Things season 3 going into it, or were you feeling kind of like some Stranger Things fatigue, or I don't know, what was on your brain, and would you recommend people sit down and watch it? Randy, why don't you start?
I mean, kind of. I since the second season on, pretty much I won't say I've soured towards it or anything, but I've been feeling what you described as the fatigue kind of since then, just because it took off so quickly, and when it's got a new season out, people lose their goddamn minds, and like it's hard to avoid spoilers for a while, and then it's just one of those big cultural things. And I don't know. I have some gripes with all seasons, really, I think. But really, in general, it's like, I don't know. It's just kind of much culturally, kind of a lot of saturation for me. And so, yeah, I knew it was coming. And I was like, I'm excited to watch it. Like, I enjoy watching it. But it just it's just saturated.
Yeah. Brad, what about you?
I absolutely agree with that. Like, I kind of go in cycles where I watch a show, I love the show, it gets into the off season, it starts tapering off, and then they just start bombarding you with, all these new products that they come. You can't go to a Target and move more than 5 feet without stepping in upside down or whatever the fuck they have all over there. So, I kind of sour on it until it actually comes out, and then from there on, I love it.
Oh, yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a reason that people like this.
I really wish I had some Stranger Things themed ice cream at some point.
Yeah.
I've never said that in my life.
I do have some Stranger Things coffee sitting right over there. It tastes like maple syrup. It's delicious.
What I really need is a beach towel with Steve's face on it. I gotta rub my ass on Steve's face.
Eat my ass, Steve. So, Justin, what about you?
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I would recommend it. I mean, it stays like pretty consistent. They do the thing. I was like, okay, they did they did just a regular season, then they did Halloween, and then they did 4th of July. And now I'm like, okay, so the next one's going to come out in a year and a half at Christmas, right? I mean, that's what we're going towards. It's going to be snowing and like, so, I mean, because it's been about a year and a half, right? That's how they're pacing them out a little bit, like, right?
This one was, yeah.
Yeah, so year and a half, Christmas, 2020. Oh, really? Okay, so
I think I read that somewhere. So I mean, either they might still release it then. I mean, you're right. That was the natural instinct I had too. But I read that they are recording right away.
But yeah, I like it, and I understand like people talking about it and stuff, but like as far as like living in a different country, I don't have to deal with all that bullshit. So that's kind of nice. I don't like it as. Other than that, it's like if I want to avoid it, I just like turn off Facebook, which is what I do anyway. So just like it's not that big of a deal.
That's a semi-charm kind of life if I've ever heard.
Dude, I know. That's how I live my life. Semi-charm stand over here.
Yeah.
I was looking it up. Rob just hit shuffle on his music reference.
Yeah, I don't know. My brain. I was looking forward to it, per usual. I haven't really experienced too much fatigue. I mean, it's a little ridiculous that they're capitalizing on Stranger Things as much as they are. But, fucking America, make your money, whatever. The show's good. I can't hold against the show. I was excited to watch it, and I wasn't let down, really. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I recommend it. Slam your eyeballs into it if you haven't already. Do it. Yeah, so I'll drop spoiler warning, and we can get into this piece. Let's do it.
Spoiler warning.
The Russians are bad! The Ruskies!
Communism, bad!
I can never imagine a world where that was happening.
Rootin' tootin' Putin's
This is such fiction.
Have you seen his gay bar Muzak video? He likes the gays.
God,
that's a very.
You are going way off course, Rob. A lot of people have no idea what you're talking about.
It's look up the song "Gay Bar." It's a great song.
On YouTube, there is a gay bar music video.
It's not even the music video.
No, it's a fan video.
Yeah,
Rob, sing a random Cranberries song.
Yeah, Bob.
I'll put it in the show notes, for God's sake. We gotta save these people.
Yeah, it's worth your time.
Techie Bob over there. What's the name of that band? I can't remember.
Electric Six.
Yeah, Electric Six. Thank you.
Yeah, Gay Bar. Listen to it. So yeah, we start off with the Russians in 1984. And they have this like giant laser contraption thing that they have built, and they're trying to like laser into the Upside Down and like basically reopen a portal. And it doesn't work, and it backfires, and things explodes, and like all the Russians just sort of like melt into goo. And then it jumps over to present day, which is 1985, the summer of 1985. And we're like slowly introduced to the kids, like one by one, and we kind of catch up with them and see what they've all been up to. And they've notably grown. Like they seem a little bit bigger, a little bit more mature, I guess, in this season. And Mike and Elle are just making
their first Q-Chays.
Yeah, this is the one that really starts right away leaning hard into young romance stuff, which puts Hopper in this position of being sitcom dad for a majority of the first part of the show. And yeah, they're making out. Mike and Eleven are just making out, just going hog fucking wild on each other.
Playing tonsil out.
Yeah, they are. And Mike pretty much being a dick otherwise. 11 pretty much doing nothing otherwise, right? At least not right away.
Yeah.
You don't need magic yet at that point, so it's kind of useless.
Yeah, and then Will is like trying to get them to like do the shit they did in previous seasons, like Dungeons and Dragons, and talk about anything besides their relationships because not Dustin. What's the other kid's name? Lucas, thank you. Lucas and Max are also in a relationship, and it's like an on again, off again. Isn't it funny? They get in fights because they're young, sort of thing. And they're just obsessed with their girlfriends, and that's the whole conflict within the kids group for a while, up until Dustin, I guess, comes back from a camp, like some sort of technological camp, space camp or something. But and he says he has a girlfriend. He sets up this big ass CB radio rig, which is like another ET reference going in there. And then he feels sort of ostracized from the group because they don't like want to hang out with him at the CB radio. They want to go make out with each other. So he ends up going to hang out with Steve and creates the best part of the season. So he's hanging out with Steve as Steve works a dead-end job at the mall, which is the centerpiece of the show.
Yeah, the new hot spot, the mall.
Yep.
This one, like, and I know, like, they brought in, like, the 4th of July. This one had, like, a different look, like, a different sheen to everything. I know they were trying to bring in, like...
It's brighter.
Yeah, like, they have the neon colors of the mall, and then they go shopping, and they have, all the crazy, styles of the 80s and stuff like that. But even just, like, it definitely, like, it felt like more CGI. Like, everything was just brighter in general. Like, even when they're, like, underground, things look bright. Sometimes it reminded me of, like, God, Are You Afraid of the Dark, like, episode? Like, they were, like, very, like, supposed to be scary, but they were very, like, brightly lit and shit like that. Like, I don't know. It made me think of this, like, 90s, like, TV kind of sheen to it.
A lot of it had that.
And even like maybe some of like the set designs, like they go into like the Russian base or whatever, just like the lights that are going off and stuff. It's like
that elevator it might as well be out of an N64 game.
Yeah.
It's just
like the
crazy lighting
and the lights and crazy shit. Yeah, just I don't. Process. Yeah. And this isn't to go off like the fatigue of Stranger Things but like Stranger Things, it's a good show, and even like this season, like it's like pretty like consistently like written. It seems like, and the characters are like pretty consistent. So I think it's like good, but I definitely don't want to be essing on the Stranger Things this whole. And like this is I had like actually quite a lot of problems with this season to like bring up. I don't know if anybody else did, but there's just like because I was rewatching it and I was like, actually a lot of this shit like doesn't make a whole lot of like fucking sense, to be honest. Like it's like what the fuck like I kept just saying like wait, like in my first viewing of it, like I was just kind of like soaking it in and experiencing the ride, but when I was going back I was like, these story points like don't actually make really any kind of fucking sense. So like I like to talk about a lot of that kind of stuff because I know it's easy to just be like Stranger Things is awesome, and it is, but like this season was kind of weird.
This season I think in particular is worthy of some criticism for that reason. Like I said, it's one of the things that kind of bummed me out, and that people really gravitated towards Hopper in this season. And to me, I feel like he became less dimensional and he became more of just like reactive and just like, I'm angry, I'm wearing a dumb shirt, I'm not getting what I want out of life, and my daughter's trying to bang some dickhead. That's like, those are the motivating factors. And then like, I mean, are we in spoiler territory or no?
Oh yeah, we are.
Okay.
He's also trying to do a little bit of romance.
He was, and that was the part that was at least somewhat dimensional, and like his relationship with Eleven was pretty well done, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, he was trying to get the attention of a lady who was only obsessed with magnets the whole time. So
how do they work?
Well, she's like off doing she's doing her side shit or whatever, and like for good reason, whatever. But like her whole character just seems like they're like in some capacity there to just vex Hopper. It's just like. There's no reason for you not to be like follow your obvious attraction to Hopper, except like a fear of intimacy or some shit.
Well, they did a pretty good thing of like her, like because they go back and like her thing with Bob or whatever,
right?
And that I thought actually like that was good because like you kind of felt it because like I guess we're already in spoiler territory. Like I thought she had like a good arc over like these 3 seasons. She's probably had like one of the best arcs because in this. in this season, she's one of the few people that they didn't like make shittier. It seems like they made so many of the characters shittier, and it makes sense with like some of the kids because they're like getting older and they're not as endearing anymore. They're not as like precious. They're like shitty teens, which like fits the bill. Like at least it's like realistic or whatever. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, they're kind of like shitty dicks. Like I don't like to see them as much as I did when they were like precious, little kids like being like, like
it's not
goofy and shit. Yeah.
It's not Elliot from E.T. anymore. Mike is now like just some prick.
He's just kind of like a little bit of a cooter. He's a little creeper a little bit.
Mike's kind of a little shit. But the rest of them, I didn't really get that vibe.
I don't like Lucas and Max. Like Max is kind of shitty. Like she kind of does like sabotage Elle a lot. Like the advice she gives. I don't know. She was just kind of being shit. Like even like Lucas, like everybody was just less endearing in general. Like Lucas kind of had the same deal, but like it made like what they were doing made sense for their age. It's just like I was like, I don't really enjoy watching this as much, which it
just feels like you lost a little something, maybe.
Yeah.
But, and Lucas in particular, I feel like he was completely underused in the show. Like the only scene I can actually immediately remember with him as the centerpiece was him talking about fucking New Coke for like 12 minutes. So like, I mean, we get it. We fucking get it. Coke paid some money for this. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about Billy kind of turning into the big bad?
I think that gave him a purpose for existing in this fucking show.
Did.
Honestly,
I liked how they brought him back and he was like seducing the moms and stuff. I was like, man, I like they developed such a good cooter or whatever. Oh, Billy the cooter. But here's one of the first things that doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's talk about Cooter Billy. So in the first episode, he's going to meet Mike's mom or whatever. He's seducing all these moms at the pool, and he's going to meet up with her in a motel, and he wrecks his car and he gets pulled into this factory, and he gets like in the same vein that Will did in the last season. He gets like infected by the mind flare or whatever. And he is forced to like do his bidding. Okay, so here's the whole thing with this new monster. Well, it's like the mind flare, but it's like different because it's like stuck in our dimension or whatever. So it's like
that's how they explained it at first.
Gooey now.
It's like half the blob and half the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's like it's both physical and a smoke cloud. It kind of starts as the smoke cloud you see escape from Will when they purge him in season 2, but then a bunch of fucking rats explode and then they become his meaty flesh, which was a kind of cool thing to visually, and like I thought that was neat. But I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
So like I didn't. So and maybe I'm fucking stupid. Like, but okay. So it infects Billy, and its whole thing is like so. First, it like pulls all these rats to itself and explodes them and like takes in their goo to form a body. Okay. So then it also infects Billy and it like gives Billy this mission. It's essentially like bring people to me. So like Billy like goes out and he like captures this swimming girl that he works with and makes like that's his girlfriend. Then they like kidnap her parents. And so they start to like kidnap the town. And so the mind flare is just like infecting all of these people. And at first I was like, oh shit, it's almost like it's taken over the town thing. I thought that was cool until all they do in the end is explode like the rats and become its body. And I was like, but why? So then why did it do that? Like, why? Right. And then it's a monster like rolling around, like this gooey giant monster. And I was like, damn it, I wanted to see the people like rolling around. Yeah. And then I was like,
and you do see some of that though.
A little bit, and then that was cool.
When it ends, though, it fucking ends.
Yeah, and then I was like, are these people dead? Like, did it just kill all of these people? Because it almost makes it seem like it gives them like a different body. Because like Elle also does this thing where she's like in her like middle ground world or whatever, where she sees this one girl and it's after she's been taken by the monster, but the girl's like consciousness is like calling out for help. And I'm like, well, was it like making copies? Was it like
the self things?
Was it, I didn't understand because then they all explode but Billy doesn't explode. He's still like rolling around.
Well, he's the big swinging dick of the monster.
I know, but like as far as like sense goes, as far as like making some kind of sense of what's happening, like Billy's still rolling around, but everybody else is this goo monster, and I'm like, but also it just pulled the rats to itself. Like literally, you just see all of these rats running to this thing, and I was like, okay, why didn't it just pull a billion rats to it?
More animals, just rats, get some deer.
So why do you need? Yeah, if the whole goal is to just become a big goo monster, why do you need Billy to go like capture people? Like literally just pull rats to you for a night or to a couple weeks or whatever, and then just be a giant goo monster. I didn't understand. It's like it didn't make any sense.
Well, and so like I like the design of the monster, but what were they doing? Because they were all gathering like fertilizer and like chemical.
They were eating bleach and shit. Yeah, like drinking. Like Billy's goes to the pool, and they never. That's the whole thing. Because Nancy is like tracking their rats, and they're like, oh, they're eating the fertilizer. Oh, the chemicals.
That's the reason. Nancy needed something to do.
No, I know, but it didn't. Like it even shows at one point, like Billy goes back to the pool. He's like drinking bleach, and then like another dude, like the dad or something, he's like eating. And it's like why? They never explain that. Why are they eating chemicals?
I guess I kind of took it as like those chemicals were something that like maybe the monster used to recreate itself almost, and that's how it got so big.
Or maybe that's just
it exploded, but it doesn't really explain why Billy.
It doesn't explain at all.
Died.
Right. I mean, it's maybe that's what helps liquefy. I mean, you could theorize a few things, I guess, but you're right. Like to me, there's no reason for that to exist in the story except to give Will's brother and Nancy something to investigate.
What is that? Jonathan,
thank you.
Jonathan.
And that whole story is kind of a bummer because it does tie in at the end, but it really doesn't feel important for most of the show to me.
And even talking about Billy, okay, so to close out this arc, because we want to talk about other arcs, there's definitely storylines. The whole thing, too, is like, okay, it takes these people, it infects them, and they explode into goo, except for Billy, and he's the big dick string, he's rolling around. But his whole thing is like, no, I'm going to resist the monster, and I'm going to save my sister, so he gets a little redemption. And it's like, why didn't it just explode him and turn him into goo? It's like, got to fight him. It's like, got to eat him. It's like just
from the exterior, I guess. He's just a rage monster without the fucking thing. So maybe it's
I know.
It's using that for good finally, which I kind of liked that interacting. I don't know. It gave him a reason for existing, and it gave Max a conflict that was interesting. But again, was just underutilized, probably for time.
Yeah,
like it didn't feel like we settled anything with her. She just kind of watched that shit happen.
Yeah,
felt bad, and then
it did make you feel like more bad for like because it gives him like more of a backstory, like how his mom dies and how like he blames himself and how his dad like takes it out on him. Like okay, like that was fine because he was like such a huge piece of shit in the first one, and they did the same thing with like Steve. If you go back and watch the first season, like they did the same thing with Steve a little bit, which I know like it's like a fun part, but I really don't like how they like where Steve has ended up necessarily.
It's a bummer. But
so Billy is what Steve was originally supposed to be. Like the Duffers have come out and said this. That is, what they wanted originally, but they just liked the character too much.
Steve,
decided to recast it. Yeah,
and they needed a lost boy, so.
Which was a smart move on their part because he might be the best part of the show.
Yeah, he is. I mean, and he ends up in this kind of a bummer situation, but it follows logically for the character, and B, it just creates the most fun part to me. Like, I have very little qualms with that whole storyline, except for like, just like you were saying, like the Russian bunker and all that stuff. The way that's built, it's almost like too shitty to feel nostalgic. Like it's too brightly lit and too like it feels way more false and hollow than the rest of the show. And like you think back to like even season 2 when Hopper like goes into like the upside down and the camera flips and shit. Like that's fucking foreboding. That's scary. I was never once afraid of the goddamn Russians.
No, they goof it, and because it's attached to like the Dustin Steve line, and they goof it up so much, it's like very like goofy, and even like the doctor, like the doctor, and they make him like give him this drug and stuff like that to make him talk. It's just like
the shit out of Steve. Though they do.
But they like drugged and making quips the whole time.
It's true. They never give it any
Indiana Jones, but it's not a little scary.
They never give it any kind of weight. It never feels like.
The Russians are stormtroopers, basically. They're just like, no, they don't. They're not a real threat.
They're they're the caricature of '80s Russian villains, and that's obvious. But they don't really get any more deep than that, except for maybe with
Terminator,
whatever Sergey. Well, no, fuck Terminator. But Sergey or whatever, the guy that was with and ate a corn dog and turned into an American and loved capitalism, like that.
Loved capitalism.
Like that was his whole. That whole arc felt very like '80s American exceptionalism to me. It was like, oh, see, here in America, we have amazing things that are bad for you, like corn dogs and games, and they're cheating you, but you can still win. That's a fucking capitalism, a love story. The storyline in this thing, it's very, very it was just very blatant, and it was funny. But I don't know. It also was another goofy element, and there's just a lot more goofy elements overall in this season.
Yeah, and even the monster didn't look. The design was pretty cool, but the CGI to me, I know we've had the Demogorgon and the smoke monster, it didn't look very good to me.
I thought it looked pretty cool, man.
Really?
I disagree with you.
I certainly like the concept of it, and I think the CGI was on par with anything else they've done.
Yeah. Really? I thought the Demogorgon stuff looked better, and maybe it's just back in the day they were doing. I know definitely with the smoke monster, it's it's smoke. It just seemed because this was gooey, the sheen that it had on it, it was the way the lights reflected on it made it look like worse CGI to me. But it's just me, I guess.
Yeah, we might just be getting more discerning still,
Yeah.
Fucking basically real lions talking with Mufasa voice now.
That shit, I haven't seen that movie, but
me neither.
The trailer looks stupid. I'm also not a kid. It's not made for me.
Well, it is made for you because they're capitalizing on your nostalgia. Yeah. Ain't nobody going into that thing because they like Hamlet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have as many problems with this as you guys seem to have. I mean, yeah, maybe the monster and like how it comes to be and like what its motivation is a little loosey goosey. But all that honestly like feels kind of loosey goosey to me in season 1 and season 2 too. Like it doesn't seem like specifically weird in this season. It just kind of always is like, I don't know, it's this fucking thing and it lives in I don't know. But I like this season how it's like actually trying to get a physical form. I like that aspect of it, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I thought it was just going to infiltrate the town, like Justin said, though, and then like have like that smoke monster basically multiply in people's brains and have just a million Will Byers in season 2 walking around committing acts on behalf of this thought. Basically, it's like the mind flayer is all about your mind, so it will infiltrate people's minds and it would infiltrate the government, infiltrate everything. And then open up the portal so that physical beings could come out and attack people. That's what I kind of anticipated, and that's what I thought too. Yeah, but I mean, I don't get too hung up on that either because, like Rob said, like the upside down stuff, it works as much as it needs to usually, and if you pick it up any season apart, you will sort of see the seams. As long as it's sort of scary and tense, then it's good. And this episode or this season had that. It was just diminished to me. It just especially because it was surrounded by other goofier things.
Well, go ahead. Sorry, it's the monster's motivation to me. I think it's almost like, okay, so it came from the Upside Down. The Upside Down, who knows what else is there that could, be a potential rival to the Mind Flayer. So now it doesn't have to deal with that shit anymore. So was it trying to reopen the actual portal, or was it just trying to get bigger?
I think so, because established in the other seasons, like think of season 2 with the Demodogs that are running around and they react to protecting, basically there's a hive mind, they protect the queen. And that big giant motherfucker that's in the hole in the end of season 2, that's kind of your queen, is what I imagine, or what I think is implied. So, I mean, the Mind Flayer potentially could be a Starscream sort of villain that's like a rival for the throne in the Underworld, but that's not established in any way. And they're not really. What's interesting about this season about the villains, though, the Upside Down villains, is that they seem their motivations, maybe just because they're played by people now, because he's infecting people and making them act strange. It feels more like like a mustache twirling villain than an existential threat, you know, than a force of nature. So again, it's another thing that's sort of like it almost like doesn't. It just feels a little cheaper. Feels a little more nylon than cotton. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It all feels pretty on point to me with the other season. I mean, maybe you get a little like used to seeing this stuff. You know, like
That's part of it too.
we get it in the fucking 80s. But like this season specifically, like I like the summer feel of it, and that like they have, you know, the carnival and the big 4th of July celebration, and like the community
The
pools.
set pieces are all kind of cool.
Mall. Yeah, I like the whole sort of architecture of this season, and I thought the monster in this season was definitely my favorite monster, even if it doesn't really make it.
What?
I really liked the monster. Yeah,
I'm just never really partial to any of
Dude,
them. Like,
I don't know. I could give you, I guess I could like, if I had to give a quick summary, like I could give a summary of like season 1 and how it all makes sense. And like, it seems like things happen in this season just because like they needed things to happen. But like, I could say like season 1 is about the government having these programs, and they accidentally, you know, get this girl with psychic powers who could go in between, and they accidentally open a portal because they tell it to touch this monster that they accidentally find, and the monster is literally just reacting. It hunts, and it hunts and it eats people like Barb or whatever, and it doesn't understand
this season.
it doesn't understand that there's like a portal between worlds. Like sometimes it finds a hole, and that's what they're dealing with. This one, let me ask you, why and how were the Russians in Hawkins building a thing under the mall, and why were they even there to open the port? Like what was the whole
Because it's
point of
an
the
80s
Russians? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
why were the Russians there?
because to add another thread of like the
So they say they
do give a line of explanation.
They say that it's because this city is the only place that this actually would work.
Yeah,
or that it has worked.
Yeah,
but why? Why would my whole thing before when they were doing the portal is they were trying to spy. Like when they were using L, they're like, we're gonna spy on the Russians. So if they were doing it like from Russia to like create a portal, like we'll infiltrate the U.S. from underground or whatever. Like okay, like that kind of makes sense. But this time, like monsters, like tentacles, are coming out of the portal. Like why are they open? It never gives an explanation of why they're opening the portal.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. And I was going to ask that. And again, it's that sort of thing where if they explained it, it was not sufficient, because if none of us have that answer,
I would be new.
I don't know if they really gave an explanation. I don't really care.
because Russians are evil, they're going to do the evil thing. And it comes down to tropes. Instead of making a villain that's driven by a logical MO, it's a villain driven by a trope.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this show to me, I mean, you guys you've already expressed that you have some problems with the kids and the development, the character development of the kids and all that stuff. The show's about the kids, right? That's what the show is. Like, I don't really give a shit about the Russians' motivations personally. They didn't really add a whole heck of a lot to the season. I don't disagree with you. They didn't, other than like giving, Steve and Nancy something to kind of do, and also
Jonathan Nancy.
Sorry, Jonathan. Yeah. And
Steve and Maya Hawk,
and Dustin and Robin. Which is like a new character they introduced to give them something to do, which is cool and interesting and fun because you're with those kids, those characters. Like I don't give a shit about Russians too much, but I don't know. I like the kids in this season as much as I ever have. Really, I don't really notice like a dip personally.
They're just spreading a lot of like. It just seems like they're spreading a lot of character development a lot more thin on the kids. Like it used to be very focused on the kids, and now it's like still focused on L. It's still focused on L, and like everybody who radiates around L. The closer you are to L, the more likely you're going to get screen time. And Dustin as well, because Dustin's a fan favorite, and he got his own awesome fucking subplot. Mm-hmm. So I mean, those are sort of the kids where the plot love is just sort of like they're like the centerpieces for that in terms of the kids. And then there's Hopper and Joyce. Those are that's sort of like the central. Those are where the most love went in terms of writing. And then it feels like Max is almost kind of an afterthought. And then Billy was not an afterthought, but only because they kind of had to give him they gave him a reason for being for one, but then they also had to sort of give him a conflict, some sort of conflict surrounding him, which was he was abused and all this stuff. So it sort of gave a reason for him embracing this fucked up thing. But yeah, all the love was around 11 and stuff, which has kind of always been true. Like 11's the most intriguing character from the jump. So I mean, I don't like have a big problem with that. It just, I look at Lucas and I'm like, man, what else could he have done besides give bad advice to Mike about girls?
Well, and that's the thing too, because they keep introducing like, I felt like all the time, like they was usually spent on like Lucas, or like you said in the beginning, it was the core kids. It's like now they're like, oh, and here's another lovable character. It's Erica, and here's another lovable character. It's Robin, and they get all these like lines and subplots, and it takes away from like Lucas and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, okay, like Robin's cool, and like, yeah, okay, like Erica's nice or whatever, but like it, like,
nice.
like Dustin didn't even spend any time with the group, and I kind of like had a beef with that because I know like in the last season the whole thing was like, oh, Steve and Dustin are together, ha ha ha, what a great combos mix, and then they just like took it again in this season. It's like I want Dustin to hang out with the squad, like I understand Steve and Dustin is cool. It like kind of does
because they wrote the fact that to make.
I don't know. Dustin like wouldn't tell his best friends that he intercepted a Russian thing. Like,
he has a friend who can get in people's heads.
Yeah, like he doesn't even mention it to them because it's like what?
It's like, oh, we got like evil Russians in town. Why don't I call my mind reader friend and see what?
So I guess like here's my question: did they all know that she could read? Like, she has never read minds.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Her power seemed to have morphed a little bit. She's older too. Maybe it's and it's like X-Men, like where it services the plot for them to say, well, now it's developed into this, and that's fine. I don't have a big issue with that because she basically is an X-Man.
I think it kind of worked because how long was Dustin away at his like science camp or whatever?
I think
like a month.
Which is not that long, but I guess kid.
I just don't know. Like, I don't know how much 11 would have known about this power in the first place, or if she was just kind of like developing it at the time, or what. But
I don't know. In the season 2, the way her powers develop is she can more acutely control and more strongly control physical things and dig into the minds of people who are stuck in the Upside Down. She can travel to the Upside Down in a way, or locate people like Cerebro. Those are kind of the two things. And this one, she can do that with anybody, anywhere. She can go see Mike and Lucas talking shit about girls. Like, so, I mean, and she can also like just crush
on Billy, Cooter Billy.
Yeah.
You like to beat the shit out of the table, Randy. I was podcasting with you.
Yeah, I do.
I forgot. Yeah, you used to have to warn Randy, like, hey, you're shaking them
sit
up.
on your hands, man.
There's another point I was going to make, but I'll have to come back.
Sorry.
You fucking table piece of shit.
Oh, I was going to say that the Terminator guy, did anybody get anything out of that?
No.
Yeah, he's just kind of there.
It was
I was like, so this is Arnold Schwarzenegger?
It's like, it's so visually and obviously on the nose, like storytelling, and then he just basically says what he is, and it's like what he's referencing, and it's just a lot. That's the bigger point. What I was kind of getting to is, it seems like it's always kind of had a flair towards the 80s. Obviously, that was the goal of season 1, but with each season, they've sort of like made more and more of a point to go there. And in this movie, it's not just like, oh, I have an R2-D2 toy in my bedroom. They have fucking like a full minute of Back to the Future in this movie. Like, they just show whole parts of movies, and it just doesn't seem like anything other than nostalgia porn for people. It's like, oh, I've seen that.
I like the mall
show,
but it's so much more egregious and obvious now. It's not done with any like mess. They're not the same level.
I will say I got a cliche in the first episode where all the kids sneak into the rooms there and they're watching Day of the Dead. That's great.
I mean, I get a nerd boner from watching like choke on them and shit. Like, I love that. But it just seemed like just knowing what this movie is, or what this, like, just having seen them do it better, and especially season 1, where it's like, okay, this is an E.T. reference, but they're not saying E.T. They're not showing clips of E.T. It's just, you're reminded of E.T. This is not reminding you of Back to the Future. They show Back to the Future.
Andy, I'm glad you went with the Back to the Future reference and not the full musical that they did of Never Ending Story.
Yeah. that's another thing. And I was like, I mean, I know that like the actor who plays Dustin is a singer and all that shit. Like, do we need to see this whole fucking thing?
Did you guys get any Jurassic Park vibes? I know it's not from the 80s, but
Absolutely.
I was picking up
The
on
car
it.
I
chase
thought it was
is-
more Jurassic
Yeah,
Park
yeah.
in the second one with the demi dogs and like the raptor kind of feel and
Well,
stuff like that.
they
but-
had the whole scene where they're in the back of the truck, and then there's the mind flayer kind of like.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And somebody actually
Yeah.
says, I don't remember who, but somebody
Must have
says
been
spared no expense. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
You know,
I
I'm okay
did-
with, like,
I
the line
did
around
with the
it.
back-
It's just-
With the
Sorry,
Back
go
to the Future, I did like that they were like kind of breaking it down. That was kind of funny where they were like, so is that chick like trying to bang her son? Like that was kind
Yeah,
of funny.
I just said that and not said the name of the movie or anything about it.
Yeah.
I've gotten it, and it would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's probably right. But it didn't bother me that much.
I don't know. That in particular, and even the Day of the Dead. Even though I love that movie and I like seeing it get some mainstream love, it just seemed kind of egregious because I know what they're going for. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to elicit things from me, and that I'm a harder sell, I guess.
I know what you're trying to do. That stuff is just sort of like extra shit.
It's like the next season they'll just
the characters.
the next season they'll just show an entire episode of the Transformers in one episode. Show you the arc of Starscream.
So let's kind of get into the end of this season, and then we can rate it. I know it's kind of hard to like encapsulate 8 hours of content all in one show, but we're jumping around a lot here. But we're trying to hit the big stuff. Yeah, it's sort of the whole season sort of culminates in this big battle in the mall with the Mind Flayer and Hopper and shit. I don't remember who goes down with him. Hopper and some other people go down into the
Joyce
Russian-
goes down, and then that bald dude who we didn't even
Dustin.
talk about.
No,
Yeah.
Dustin is at the CB.
No, the dude with the
Part of that
beard
squad.
and the jorts.
Yeah.
He looks like Tobias.
Brett Gelman. And I mean, as much as I love Brett Gelman, his character is there just because it's obvious the writers liked having that character. Like, and that's it. I enjoy him, but
They
that's
go down in the Russian hatch and they find the big laser or the key, what they call it, the key, and they're trying to turn it off so they don't reopen the portal. And meanwhile, they're like battling the Mind Flayer up top, and it's sort of like the big sort of like, oh my gosh moment in this is like Hopper actually dies in the end of the season, which I was surprised. I didn't see that thing. Especially because Hopper's kind of like a fan favorite, you know.
We didn't see a body.
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
in season 1, we learned that bodies don't fucking matter. So, I mean,
yeah, we don't even know if his body hit the floor. So,
yeah.
Damn, we're jumping all over the decades here.
yeah, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, Joyce and her kids, they end up selling their house, and they
Adopting 11.
yeah they
Just de
adopt
facto, I guess. I don't know.
and they leave Hawkins to move on to wherever the hell. And so the gang was already like fractured throughout this whole season, and now they're like literally in different towns by the end of it. And we see it cuts back to Russia.
So Billy dies.
Yeah, Billy dies. And it's sort of a epilogues back to Russia real quick, and you see there's somebody gets fed to a demodog or demogorgon, whatever it was, and they mentioned that the Russians have like some American captured and not the Americans of the demogorgon.
Which, I mean, after that episode that's focused almost like a ton on Hopper's death, for obvious reasons, that's the assumption I think you're supposed to make, but it may not be.
It's gonna be like Winter Soldier vibes. So next season, like Hopper's gonna be coming back, but he's gonna be like he's gonna be like Russian, like manipulated, and Elle's gonna be like, oh shit, that's my dad. Oh shit, I can't like kill him or whatever.
Well, that's my dad.
That's my dad. That's my Paul.
You're not my daddy.
Communist did it.
That's the name of an episode for next season. Communist did it.
Communist did it.
And he's wearing this shirt with the exact same ridiculous pattern, but it's all red and yellow.
It's like inverted. It's just like they hit the Photoshop like invert colors.
Yeah, they hit the Russian button. His hair till blue. Communism. So I know we kind of blasted through everything. Is there anything you guys definitely want to talk about before we rate this thing?
There was something and I lost it. I'll talk about it in my review if I need to. Lost it.
All right.
Oh, this is what it was.
Yeah.
Just want to put this out there real quick. I got pretty tired of seeing major character in danger, about to be killed. Oh no, last ditch effort, doesn't work. I'm about to die. Boom, 11 comes in and saves the day. That happens like 5 times in this fucking season. I know she's the superpowered one, but I think there's some probably some better creative ways to do that. They do at the end, like have Lucas hoard the fireworks and it's played as a joke for a while and then they use it. But that's not actually all that effective. It's a distraction.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the 11 steps in at the last minute trope just kind of got old. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, because other people have had their moments in past, like Steve steps up, back in the day with his bat, like people have had their moments to shine. I guess Hopper had his, kind of fighting off a little bit. But
yeah, Hopper's beating the shit out of everybody in this. He's mad. Mad baby. Well, let's go ahead and rate this thing then out of 5. Brad, I kind of want to hear your thoughts, man. You've been a little quiet, and we've been making some eye contact because these jabronis over here are just going on and on.
I was just like,
sweet word, man.
Who hurt you guys?
You need a hug.
The Duffers.
How are you feeling out of 5, Bradley?
So this was close to being my favorite season. I think I'd still give it 2-1, but just slightly. So, I mean, if I was going to rate this, probably I think the first season I'd probably give like a 4.5, and this season I'd give a solid 4 for sure. I think they got a lot of stuff right. Like the aesthetic was really cool. Like you said, all the settings were great. I loved fucking Steve and Dustin's whole deal. Like I thought that was excellent. And even like Hopper, I was okay with. I mean, I guess I didn't really like that Russian guy that was chasing after him, but I enjoyed a lot of his interactions with people, like Carrie Elwes, and just like beating the shit out of him, or Mayor car salesman. Yeah, kind of what I
got. Mayor from Jaws made an appearance.
And the only thing that I didn't really like was Mike. Mike specifically. I think his character gets shittier every season.
He does.
Every season. So
got a huge chip on the shoulder.
Yep. It's like, Jesus Christ, we get it. You're like angsty or whatever. Just shut the fuck up.
I mean, such a douche.
Yeah.
Mike. Cool. So did you rate it? And did
4.
it 4. Randy, how do you feel out of 5?
So despite my kvetching, I did enjoy this season, and I still enjoy the show. My biggest complaints are kind of well trod already. Like, I don't like the handling of the Russians on any level. I don't like the Terminator guy. I don't like that they don't have a real reason for doing what they're doing. I don't like the way they're portrayed as like mustache spoilers or whatever, even though like a little bit of that would have gone a long way and still made the trope work. Anyway, not to get hung up on that. I don't like the excessive use of 11 saves a day. We've covered this. What I liked. Let's cover
what did you like?
Yeah, let's cover what I liked. So I like we talked about, I liked pretty much every set piece except for the Russian base. And that's just maybe a lighting issue, which you could make an argument for it. I'm not going to.
Did you like the product placement of New Coke?
I did not enjoy that. So we're not talking about that again. I like that. The acting was mostly pretty good still. Like everything's, all the actors are humming along the way they should be. They're doing a great job, I thought. Did you disagree? Oh, I guess we'll talk to you.
No, he was just humming.
Oh. Let's see, what else? The sound, the cinematography, it's all great. I feel like it was less dark than last time, but there's a good reason for that. They're going for a slightly altered aesthetic. So I don't have a big issue with that, except for a few of the way overlit scenes. And I had a problem with some of the plotting, but for the most part, everything kind of like keeps a steady pace. Everything's moving along. Sometimes there's red herrings and shit, but aside from that, I don't know. I liked it. I had a good time watching it. Like that's kind of the end goal, is to have a good time watching it. And with Stranger Things, with each season, I have sort of diminishing returns in terms of, emotional weight for me. But in terms of enjoyment, it's about the same as it's ever been. I enjoy the beats. I enjoy the action. I enjoy the interactions between the kids for the most part, and with the characters for the most part. So, I mean, for me, it's close to on par. I don't remember what I gave season 2. I gave season 1 a 5 in the wake of its just shocking amazingness at the time, which I would walk that back a little, but for now, for this season, I would give it a 4 as well, I think. So again, like, I'm just drawn to talk about the things I don't like about it, because I feel like there's so much hype around this, it needs to be highlighted a little bit. But it's good. It's a good fucking show. It's worth your time. 4 stars.
4 stars from Russian Randy. Juice, how's old Juice feel about Stranger Things 3 out of 5?
Dude, since it's Russian Randy, wouldn't it be AKA Communist Diddy? Like that would fall in line, right?
Your Communist Diddy.
Ruski Randall.
Yeah, I was just kind of going back on this, like when y'all were talking about your reviews and like what, like, I was you were like, this is what I like about it. And I was like, okay, what do I like about it? Because I've been like giving a lot of shit. But so here's the thing. This is my actual least favorite season.
I agree.
And one of the big things about it too that I was thinking is like now like people know like millions and millions and millions of people are going to be watching this. So another thing that you get, like I like the setting of the mall and how they use that, because that was like a real thing, and the death of like that small town feel that you have in the first and second season, like that's a real thing. But then you have like there's JC Penney's, there's the Gap, here's New Coke. Like they know millions and millions of people are going to be watching this, and so sometimes it's just like God, like I know like it's like the curtain has been pulled back a little bit.
I do play Material Girl, so you can say it's critique.
Sorry, you just
another
Russian Randy.
Right.
You just called him Russian Randy. I'd like to point out he's drinking a Moscow Mule.
That's
right?
true.
Oh, there you go.
I am a
Russian Communist Diddy over here. Another thing too, with each season, like I said before, so in the first season, you have the squad, the 4 kids, Hopper, Joyce, and like the 3 teens, Steve and whatever. Now you've got like Tobias and Max and Billy and Erica and the new Russian lovable guy and the Russian Terminator and Robin and and Dustin has the girlfriend that comes in later. And it's just like everybody's spread like really thin. Like I thought, again, like I hardly spent any time with Lucas, so there's like a lot less resonance there. Like Max got kind of shittier, and Mike got kind of shittier, and Will still isn't given a whole lot to do. And so it just feels kind of thin. Like, honestly, like I don't like really want to now build a relationship with Erica and like with Robin. It's like, I want to see these kids who like I've come up with or whatever. So it felt a little thin on that end. I don't like how Dustin was just separated from the group the whole time. The whole like thing, another thing that didn't make sense is like Steve is like, oh, the music, and that means it's in the mall. They recorded that shit underground. How when they're doing the Russian thing, and he's like, oh, the music is from this horse or whatever, and the horse is like in the mall, but it literally shows them recording the Russian transmission in the underground bunker. That's like the first scene. And I was like, what? That doesn't make any fucking sense. That was just another like little beef I had. Because that was like what gave it away, that it was like in the mall. Like, oh, there's Russians in the mall. It's like, what? They record that shit underground. So a lot of shit didn't make sense. But like Randy said, it was still a fun ride. I'm going to give it a 4. I still didn't talk about the things I liked, but I liked the carnival. I liked like the fireworks scene where they fight back. I liked I like them like sneaking into the movies. I like them arguing about like playing D&D, like the death of like adolescence and like that whole development. Like that felt real and made sense. So I like some of those things. Yeah. So 4 out of 5. My least favorite. I think I would go 5 the first one, 4.5 second one, 4 on the third one.
All right. I don't remember exactly what I gave the first 2 seasons. I think the first one was a 5. If I had to guess, the second season was probably a 4.5. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think this is actually my favorite season. I really like it quite a bit, actually. There are like little things that maybe are problematic plot-wise, but I think like as far as the main characters and the new characters that they bring in, they're all just like very lovable, and I like have a good time going through their crazy shenanigans. I don't know. Like I put it on the first episode, and I had no intention of watching it. Just the first one, and I was like, no, I'll throw this on. And then I just watched the entire. Like I couldn't stop. I watched the whole fucking season.
Damn.
Which was not my intention. I don't know. I love the whole summer vibe. Like I mentioned, like all the big new set pieces that we kind of see. And I kind of like that the group is splintered, actually. I like that they're all off doing different things, which gives them an opportunity to bring in new characters, which I like the new characters. Like Robin was pretty great, and Erica was funny and sassy, and like I like that she gives everybody shit. And I don't know, like all the things that you guys kind of mind, I don't mind, I guess. And the monster is fucking cool as shit, even if it's dumb. I think it's really cool.
Even if it's dumb.
I don't know. I just don't have much of a problem with it, and I don't disagree on some of your points, anyways. But it for me, it kind of really
better agree, Bob.
It checked all my boxes as far as like my season of Stranger Things goes. I guess everything I was kind of like looking for, or everything that I would expect based on the prior 2 seasons. And as far as like the ending with like Hopper actually dying and 11 reading like the letter that he had written and everything, freaking gut wrenching.
Yeah, like, that was good.
Holy shnikes. I mean, if you can make an episode of TV that's like that emotionally impactful, then my hat's off to you. Even if your monster's dumb, my hat's off to you. Really? I mean, it was good. It wasn't bad.
Did you like how they're suggesting that they're doing a government cover-up, like the whole season essentially was with the Starport?
A government cover-up?
Yeah, like they kind of suggest, and they show headlines like later on.
Yeah. I did like that. Did they bring up like the satanic panic? They're blaming it on like cults and shit.
I like that too. I'll always appreciate a satanic panic.
Satanic panic, baby.
So smooth.
It's so smooth.
So damn smooth. That cover up. Let me tell you. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. It's a 5 for me. That's gonna put our aggregate at a 4.25. Let's go ahead and get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think of Stranger Things.
Stranger.
3.
Certified fresh to death.
Take it away, Juice.
All right, strangers. Let's guess about Stranger Things. Season 3. Critic rating, 113 people rated this. So let's go around the table and see if we can guess what they rated it. Let's start. Wait, Rob, what was your score?
5.
5. Oh, Lord. Let's go around the table. Let's let the guests go first. B-Rad, 113 critics rated this. What do you think?
I'm going to go the upside down version of the Straight Chillin' Special.
Okay.
96.
96. Okay. It's like just as good. All right. 96. It's just as good of a position. All right, Randy.
I'll buy it at a high price. Let's do an 85.
85. All right, and Rob, finish us off. Finish me off, guy.
Oh, I'm the closer. I'm gonna go with an 82.
82. Let me do some quick math. I think Randy's gonna take it. Everybody was close. It is certainly certified fresh. It is sitting at a whopping 89%. 89%.
69 plus 20.
Yes. That is correct. So yeah, the critic consensus is Stranger Things transforms itself into a riveting, if familiar, summer ride that basks in its neon-laden nostalgia without losing sight of the rich relationships that make the series so endearing. No? It's a little less endearing, but whatever.
No, it is.
Mildly.
Dude,
Let's talk about New Coke.
No, I'm not. I was about to go on a rant about the end of season 2.
Well,
but,
New Coke is the banh mi of this season.
It kind of is, yeah.
We'll get to the banh mi. We'll get there.
Oh, God. We still got to talk about that. All right, let's get into the audience score. Let's go backwards. User rating of 2,827. I don't know how they verify these users because with the movies, you have to show like a ticket. With Stranger Things, there's no ticket to show. So I don't know. Audience score. Bob, what do you think?
Dang, I don't know. Probably around the same, I think. I'll go.
How you think, huh?
I'll just go 85. 85.
Okay. Randy, Communist Diddy, what you got?
90?
90. Okay.
Might be high, but 90.
And the Brad Touch, what you got, guy?
Oh man, I wasted my good explanation on my first one, so I'll do 91.
91. All right. Nobody ever had a chance because Bob landed it on the first guest. 85 on the mark, Bob. Audience score 85
Nailed it.
on the mark. So good job guessing. I can't.
69 plus 60.
Yeah. I wanted to see what one of the top critics gave a negative. Even the most distinctive moments feel disconnected from the rest, especially a segment in the final episode that feels as if its sole purpose is to be extracted and recirculated as a meme. I don't know what he's talking about specifically there.
I don't either.
I don't know. He said in the final, a segment in the final episode that feels as if its sole purpose is to be extracted and recirculated as a meme.
Man, that review is boo-boo.
I don't know what that guy's talking about.
Yeah, me too. I kind of want to. I don't know. Maybe I'll look more into it. But
like he's full of shit.
He's sniffing his own farts.
Oh my god! Rob always buying into the hype. Rob's a hype man. That's the problem.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. You roasty.
Hype man Bob.
Juicy.
Flavor over here.
Rooski stains. So we're foregoing the trivia for this evening. Let's go ahead and let's go hunting.
Let's talk about cooters.
We're doing it. Let's go hunting.
I'm going hunting.
So Billy. Cooter.
A Cooter Billy? Is that it?
Cooter Bill?
Billy's out there trying to fuck people's moms and shit.
So I guess last time we talked about Stranger Things, we weren't building the profile. So we should just talk about Billy in general, as he's a good Cooter type.
He's very much a Cooter type, absolutely.
So
Smug
he's
as shit.
He's smug as shit. Yeah, and I guess since like he was introduced in like the second season, like we could tie in the second season, he's much more like prone to violence. No, never mind. And this, he's like abducting people in this one. Never mind.
Doesn't he like try to run over a kid in the
first one?
Well,
he's really shitty.
In the second season, he's really shitty. I think it's like equally shitty. It's just he doesn't have the excuse of a fucking monster in his life.
So I don't want to give him like the monster excuse because like this character in general, like you're right. So he's got the sexual deviancy. So you're right. He's trying to sleep with Mike's mom. So that's fucked up.
Yeah. There's also some subtle racism coming from him and because of Lucas and his sister.
From the second season. Yeah. And then so he's got like the smug arrogance. He's like he's just like always like talking down to his sister, and you're right, like with the kids. Oh, smug arrogance, especially in the second season with like Steve. He's like, King Steve or whatever, and he like gives him a bunch of shit like on the basketball field. God, sports.
Fuck out of Steve in season 2.
Yeah, he's got the attire, so he like does his little Jerry curl. He's got his perm. I think the hair definitely should count towards the attire.
Yeah.
In this one, what's he got? He's got his like little intro metal music and like his kind of car or whatever. I think those should count.
Yeah. Okay. He takes active steps towards sleeping with moms in this one, not just implied, but active steps.
Yeah.
Home wrecking families.
Is he manipulative?
Oh yeah. Well, certainly with the monster in tow.
Okay, with the monster. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he tries to manipulate the mom to go to this like swimming lesson or whatever.
That's true. I guess she does say no at first.
He rolls it in one package.
That's true. He does. Yeah. Even the breaststroke.
Oh, Billy!
That's true. He doesn't let it lie. He like keeps going. So yeah, he's manipulative. He's a good cooter, man. Like in the grand scheme of cooters,
he ranks.
Yeah, he's good. We got some of my favorites. You know, you got the dentist. Varg was one of my faves. Of course, the Jeremiah Sand, and I think Billy's up there, man. He's a solid cooter type.
It's the quartet.
He's certainly at least a cooter lieutenant.
He's about a 90 on the Jeremiah Sand scale.
Oh yeah. How many sands they were? 90?
So I usually try to attribute what do we have, like 100 total? So each point would be like 25 sands. So each point. Yeah. So he's pretty high on all of them.
The sand scale. I love
what is it? There's smugness. There's
smug arrogance, manipulation, sexual deviancy, and attire.
And then there's the ghost option, which is
just overall shittiness. But we don't attribute points to that. It's just kind of like, how shitty are they? They're shitty.
Yeah. Well, he's a shitty cooter.
He has a little like redemption at the end, so that kind of drops him a little bit, I guess. You know,
guess who doesn't have redemption? Carrie Elwes's character.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's just as shitty.
Who?
Yeah,
the mayor.
The mayor.
Oh, the mayor. Yeah, yeah. That's the dude from Saul, right?
Yeah. The Princess Bride and shit.
I promise.
I promise.
I come back. I promise.
Yeah.
He was kind of a cooter. Yeah, he was kind of a cooter too. Yeah, the mayor.
He's fucking people at the carnival.
that is deviant behavior.
If that man's not deviant, I don't know what.
That's true. He's
a cooter.
Yeah, he's a cooter.
I don't think he's the same level.
No, he's like 80 cents. I'm pretty sure.
80 cents. He's manipulative. He like jacks people's tax shit up and like.
Well, that's his main thing is manipulation because he's a politician. So
politician. He's got some smug arrogance the way he treats the sheriff or like Hopper or whatever. He's like, do your job. And like, so he's definitely on there.
Cowardly too.
Cowardly, yeah. He's not high on the attire, I don't think. I'd have to go back and
he's fairly well dressed. So
yeah. So yeah, he's got some sands to throw around.
Full of sand.
Some sands.
So I think Billy's probably the most agreeable cooter.
Yeah.
Cooter. There's some other cooters sprinkled around.
You can argue against Carrie Elwes. You cannot argue against.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nah.
I mean, every definition.
The mom trying to kill kids, being a racist, and trying to sleep with moms is pretty high up there. I love the meme, the Mr. Steal Your Girl, Mr. Steal your wife, Mr. Steal Your kids. As everybody knows that meme. That's a good meme.
Thank you, meme.
Thanks, meme, for giving
Thanks,
me a
Meme
good chuckle.
Factories LLC.
There's been some good internet content that's come out from the show.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the Magnum PI video? That
Magnum PI opener Hopper.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Kicking ass.
Oh, Vice City Hopper.
Let's go around the show out this evening here with a little bit of horror news.
All right.
Extra. Read all about it.
All right, I got a few things to talk to you guys about. So we've been talking about this Creep Show that's going to be on Shudder. So we finally got a trailer for it, and we also have a release date for it. It's going to be released on September 26th. All episodes, I believe, are going to be released at the same time. This is Greg Nicotero's baby, and of course, it's going to have Adriana Barbeau, Jeffrey Combs, DJ Qualls, Tobin Bell.
Whoa! Don't bring the back, guys.
David Arquette, Dana Gould, Tom Savini. I mean, it's pretty star-studded. Have you guys seen the trailer for that?
I missed the trailer. No, I just.
Yeah, you didn't make us watch it, Bob.
You didn't tell me that existed, so I don't know.
Bob getting fired again?
Bob.
I'm fired today. Well, anyways, it looks pretty cool. Some of the creature effects look like a little less baked than others, which I'm sure the budget for this couldn't have been that big.
Yeah.
It's a Shudder original deal, and they had to have blown a decent chunk of money just on the cast. It sounds like.
Yeah.
And Joe Hill wrote one of the stories and stuff like that. That can't be cheap.
It's practical stuff.
Yeah, it looks
That's what I thought. Okay.
It looks like it. Yeah, you got all
Good.
the Savines in there, all taco head eating Savines.
Taco head eating Savines. Anyway, that's
Go ahead, eat the head ass.
Taco head ass Savines. Yeah, it's going to be 12 terrifying tales of terror.
So is each episode its own story, like a la Tales from the Crypt sort of thing?
I think it doesn't say it in this article here, but I remember reading prior that it's going to be, I think, 6 episodes, and each episode is going to have like 2 shorts.
Okay, cool.
I believe. Anything called Love. So yeah, we'll be getting that September, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it a little bit more down the line, just in time for spooky season. Perfect.
Whoa.
Spooky.
Speaking of spooky season, we got some more
Woo.
glorious news sent straight from the Halloween gods above, preside above, John Carpenter himself. So we're going to get the Bond Me trilogy.
Thank God. The Bob Mitch. I think that's appropriately named for what this is going to turn out to be.
I think so too. So
It's going to turn out to be something that pisses off Justin. So
we found out that the Halloween 2018 movie is going to be turned into a trilogy of movies.
Surprise! Oh my God!
not just the one sequel.
They want to squeeze whatever they can out of this. I see.
Here we go. We're already pitching. The first one that's coming out, the first sequel is going to be coming out. It's called Halloween Kills. It's going to be released October 16th, 2020. And it's going to be followed by the next installment called Halloween Ends to be released the following year, October 15th, 2021. Jamie Lee Curtis is back on board. David Gordon Green is co-writing and directing both of them. Carpenter, I believe, I don't think he's confirmed to come back, but I'm sure he will. I don't know why he wouldn't come back for these. But yeah, it's exciting news for all. Am I right?
For all. The Bond Me trilogy. Here's the thing about what's like kind of so egregious about this is like the whole thing that got like people like Bob so hyped up about the next one is like, this is going to be a true sequel to the original Halloween, and it's going to wrap up like the story. And of course, at the end, Michael's escaped. And there's a trilogy. Whoa. I mean, it was the whole like premise was supposed to be like, Jamie Lee Curtis, like she's fighting back, and like, you know, that's it. She's finally going to have some closure to it. And it was supposed to separate itself from the rest of the horse shit. Like, let's make some money off this. And now here we are, the Banh Mi trilogy. Also, Halloween Kills is a terrible title.
Terrible, man.
It's
terrible.
Solely about a podcasting crew trying to interview Michael.
So the righteous return of Justin Ryan.
I like Halloween 2018, and I'm excited that the people that made it are coming back to make 2 more movies. And hopefully they're good. Maybe they won't be, but I mean, fucking at this point, I'm not mad at them grabbing some more cash for the Halloween franchise. Like, there's 11 movies already. What's another 2? You know, who cares, man? If they're good, they're good. If they're not, they're not. I don't know. We can only win here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you know, I think we can all get down on a Banh Mi sandwich.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think these are necessary or really wanted by me anyway. And but I mean, I'll watch them, and if on the off chance that they are good, and that would require them feeling at least a little bit necessary in some way from some storytelling aspect or something, then great. But I just don't see it feeling as like something that's pressing or necessary or anything other than the cash grab that it truly seems to be.
Yeah, here's what these people are really good at. Not making movies. They're really good at building hype, and they're really good at marketing. Like I said with the first one, like, it's the sequel and the thing. And
the first one was a good movie.
You said
hang on.
A good movie.
Hang on.
Not just me.
Hang on, I'm not done. And
I'm
with
saying Justin.
No, and with the whole like Halloween Ends, it's like that's what the movie was supposed to be, and like to name the title like it's going to come out in 2 years, like Halloween Ends.
Was it
like,
supposed to be the end? Like the Halloween 2018? I don't remember any marketing release saying anything about it being like a conclusion.
You know how they
it's
do.
a return.
If it didn't make enough money, then like, yeah, that was the end. But it made a lot of money. So
of course they left it open ended. And like,
so what you're saying is we should not watch the end. And then they'll actually end it, and then you can just watch it when it comes out on
VHS. As soon as it comes out on VHS.
My Betamax is hungry for more Halloween.
So hungry. Yeah, I'm stoked, of course. Justin wants everybody off of his lawn right now.
Just think about it, though. If we're covering Halloween Ends in 2 years, holy shit, that means we'll be doing this podcast for like, what, 7 years or some shit?
Yeah.
So if we're actually talking about this movie when it comes out, we'll be cornerstone in the whole podcast, realm of horror.
At that point, we'll have already have mansions and shit.
Yeah. I can't wait to get my mansion. I can't wait to be podcasting from my mansion in 2 years when we're talking about Halloween.
Need to flow, so we can put those down payments down.
Yeah. So the last bit of news I got here, San Diego Comic-Con has been going on this past week. And Scream Factory, my boys over at Scream Factory here.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
They always have a panel, and they announce some of their upcoming titles and stuff. So they released a whole bunch of information on some of their upcoming titles. I'm just going to blast through them here. There's quite a few, actually. The Abominable Snowman apparently is a movie. They're putting out a steelbook of Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
Body Parts, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, Dracula, 1979. The Fan, The Fly Collection.
The Fan?
Yes, from 1981. No, I have not seen that. The Fly Collection, which there are 5 Fly movies.
Are there really?
Did not know that.
I knew of 2.
So it includes the Vincent Price.
Oh, okay. Well, yes.
Movies, and then the 80s. Yeah,
that's a menacing fly. Shit,
that fly won't fucking die. That one episode of Breaking Bad is a steel case.
Let's Scare Jessica to Death. My Bloody Valentine, 1981. Fucking cool. I'm down. Night of the Demons action figures.
Oh, whoa. Thank Christ.
So, Pet Sematary 2 Collector's Edition, Prophecy, Road Games, Silver Bullet, and Slumber Party Massacre steelbook / action.
Bob, I know you're getting that shit. I know you're getting the
Pre-orders have been made.
No,
They've sold one.
I'm not getting that. That stuff is cool, but I don't need like action figures and shit. Man.
I was talking about the Steelbook Slumber Party Massacre.
Steel case, bookcase.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't need another. I have it already. I don't need another.
We'll see.
Wait till okay. Let's not counter chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just gonna say there are multiple duplicates in this home.
Yeah. So
Speaking of which.
Yeah, come on.
Actually, real quick, I know since we're talking about Comic-Con, Blade movie is going to be coming to the MCU, and with that, they said they were going to have their first horror-themed MCU movie, which actually was not Blade. It was the Doctor Strange movie sequel that's going to follow up. They specifically said it was going to be horror-themed. Now, are they bullshitting us? Maybe.
Yes, yes, they are.
I mean, it's horror within the realm of MCU. It's probably going to be pretty light horror, but
yeah,
I'm okay with it. I mean, the name of it, the title of it, I forget what it is. Multiverse
Into the realm of madness or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit sounds great to me. Like that's like so cornball, and it's so. That's what I like about the MCU is that it's progressively, because it's established now, doing the same thing that comic books did after things were established, which is allowing itself to go just fucking buck wild. There's going to be a show called What If. The What If concept is going to be a show.
I'm very curious about what to do with that, because it's literally just like, what if, like, one-off random scenarios?
Right. What if the Hulk was actually... What if Bruce Banner was actually Iron Man and Tony Stark was the Hulk? Like, okay, let's see. I can't wait for the Nelk Said series.
Somebody got high, and they just spitballed these ideas, and then... let's make a movie out of it.
What if this guy always started flying?
What if flying dog
just started flying dog?
Be the shit out of that table, Randy.
Also, hey, before we forget, we did get a voicemail this week. We didn't forget about it. We're just having technical difficulties tonight. Yes. We'll circle back around and we'll make sure we play that on the next show. Sorry for the delay.
We have to pass on the hotline screen, but we will get back with you. Sorry, it's those damned computers. Techie Bob is not.
It's been a week. Apparently, you're fired.
So before we close out the show, let's get down in the hole. Let's get down in the old vinegar hole.
Time for public humiliation. I bought movies. I'm going to talk about them.
Let's see how many. First.
Well, why don't you show the, I'm going to use this word very, very clearly, the stack that you're...
Hang on, for you, a YouTube exclusive.
Yeah. I don't know why I haven't been doing this, but I can just show you what I bought instead of
wait, Bob, is that from this week?
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Rob, just so you know, a jet ski costs like somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000.
So
a jet ski.
I won't get there.
Also, talk about it all day.
One of these was a gift, actually. One of these I didn't buy. So
we're going to count that.
We're going to count it. Bob, so hang on. This is the segment where we talk about Bob's Blu-ray collection. We still haven't. I got to give it a name. I got to get on that. But we're talking about Bob's Blu-ray collection, and the whole idea is, could Bob have afforded a jet ski by the end of the year instead of buying all of these Blu-rays? So for the month of July, we were up to 6 last episode. So tell me, Bob, since last episode, what have you acquired?
Okay.
There you go.
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Okay. 1.
Bad Lieutenant, which is actually like an action movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Nick Cage.
Oh, that's Bad Lieutenant 2. Is that the one you got?
Oh, yeah. The Port of New Orleans.
Call New Orleans. Call Port.
Yeah. Calling all sorts. No.
Okay. Number 2.
8mm, also a Nick Cage joint.
It's funny because the edge of those two DVDs are basically both exactly the same. It's just Nick Cage face head on. It's just Nick Cage face.
All right. 3.
Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me.
4.
Yeah. Lady in White.
5.
Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet is on the last one.
What? Okay. Might have been. Actually, yeah, you're right. It was.
This is the third copy, though.
No, it's not. Chill Factor.
Okay, I can't remember what that one was. Was it 6? I'm counting it.
And Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 movie.
7. Okay, so just for the basic count, for the month of June, which was a big month because Vinegar Syndrome had a half off sale. So Bob went buck wild apparently and ended at 14. We are in the month of July and he still has 1 more week left and we're at 13.
So Amazon had Prime Day.
Prime Day. Okay. So I got to update. So Bob, it's just not for public shaming. We also want to know where did you get some of these films? Tell us about your sources, any hot deals that are going on, anything that people need to know about.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Prime Day's over, but they had a lot of stuff on sale. A lot of Screen Factory and Arrow stuff was on sale for that. I think the sale's still going on at Barnes and Noble, where they have all their Criterion collections half off.
Okay.
And also, Screen Factory is having their Summer of Scream sale, which they have various stuff with like markdown half off and whatnot. But I think that's all I know of as a trainer.
Okay. So how many of those did you get from Amazon? What'd you get from Barnes & Noble?
I got all the Criterion stuff from Barnes & Noble. Everything else was Amazon.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. So Screen Factory still got their deal going on. Barnes & Noble still got their deal going on. If people are looking to buy some horror Blu-rays, Bob is your specialist. We need to share that knowledge with the masses. We need to take advantage of it. We also need to give Bob a little bit of shit. See if he can afford a jet ski.
And drink all those things. Thanks, communist dude. Oh yeah.
The hot takeaway so far is since we've been tracking it, we're in the double digits consistently. So I think that's the hot take. We'll see if that holds up. Also, we're heading into spooky season, so God knows what's going to happen.
There will be sales. You know what happens every month? Sales.
Whatever, Randy. Yeah, so that's going to do it for us this week here at Straight Chilling. We're going to be back next week with a brand new episode, hopefully.
It's going to be like written on a fucking scroll.
Hopefully we have an episode this week.
Yeah, hopefully.
Cross them fingers and toes.
Yeah, lots of technical difficulties. Anyway, next week we're going to be covering the winner of the July poll pick, which was Halloween Resurrection. So that'll be interesting. I haven't seen that one in a while. But until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. You can follow us on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. If you want to join us on our Slack channel, just let me know via any one of our social media websites, and I can send you a link so you can jump on that, join in on the weekly conversations. Play some video games with us tomorrow on Twitch.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be on Straight Chill. You can tune in live, Straight Chilling Podcast. Twitch.tv/Straight Chilling Podcast. And if you missed it, you can check out all our video games, past, present, and in the future, youtube.com/Straight Chilling Podcast.
Nice. I think that's going to do it for us. Brad, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure as always.
Appreciate you letting me ask you if I can be on this podcast.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thanks. It's good to have you, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Of course.
Yeah. So until next week, as always, everybody, please keep chilling.